Episode 85, and we're talking about a guy getting axed in the dome after he crushes a man's skull so hard his eye pops out like a cork on a bottle of cheap Prosecco. That's what I'm talking about, Teach. That's the energy we need in the fog.
Straight from the booth, camping them softly. Toxic teachers here. Camping them softly. The legend is clear. We run the game, we own the camping them softly. Let's go. Welcome to the madness. Sit down and shut up. Toxic teacher in the house. CTS.
Oh, there we go.
CTS.
It's episode 85, 85, the big 85 of Camping Them Softly. It's been a minute. It's been another month. I said it was going to be like a week. I think it was another month. Life got the best of me. This is everybody's least favorite of the Surviving Dead by Daylight podcasts, of which there are not many, I don't think, at this point. There are a couple, but not many of us left. But we're here. We are ready. This is a big episode. Do you know why? They announced for their 10th anniversary here in June next month, we are going to have a new killer, and this is a big one. I'm sure you've already seen. If you're a Dead by Daylight fan, you have seen this new killer. The new killer is going to be none other than Jason Voorhees. I don't know how excited you are about this new killer. I'm trying to figure out what to think about this, but we've got to go. There's so much I want to go over today that I was trying to figure out how do we even do it? Like, how do we even go through all of this? Because there was a live stream. If you guys watched the live stream, if you guys watched the whole live stream, I'm sorry, you're a bunch of fucking idiots. Because I mean, and I'm trying to go through this without just like scattershotting the whole thing, because you know how ADHD I am, that I'll come up with one point about what I'm trying to say, and I've got to do some kind of slow, like, you know, how are we gonna do it? And I've got a couple of ideas, and let me get to, because we've got to do the news. That's the big one, right? Is that we've got to go into our news, and there's just too much news. And we're back with this. You know what it is.
The only toxic fucking news.
Yes.
Toxic fucking news.
And I can go get a drink. Actually, I left my drink in the other room, so I'm going to go grab it. Just let the song play for a few seconds.
New killers suck. Survivors OP. Another goddamn patch, and it's breaking my PC. Skill checks flying. Let's drop in fast. Why the fuck do I still play this trash? It's the toxic fucking news that's toxic.
And he is back. Oh, look at that. And I have my drinky winky ready to rock and roll. Let's go. Yes. And you know what's great about this song? By the way, my name is The Toxic Teacher. You can find me on Spotify, The Toxic Teacher. You can find me on all the socials, Toxic Teacher TTV. You can find my website. I don't know what's happening here. You can find me on my website, thetoxicteacher.com. It's a work in progress. I apologize. But we've got so much news. So what I want to go over first is I want to go over this live stream that they had. And I don't know if you watched this live stream. Beaver, as we called him in the last episode. Beaver had a live stream. Oh, and you know what? I see how mean I am. We don't even get the co-host in here. Hey, Nikki, it's episode 85 of Camping Them Softly. Camping Them Softly. This is a huge one. This is a huge fucking episode. Huge fucking episode. We're talking about the new killer coming to DVD on June 16th. Jason Voorhees. And also a shitty live stream Beaver did. And we're doing a deep dive, I think. We're doing a deep dive, I think. How you been? Playing DVD lately? Have any news for us of any kind? Let me see here. And then let's send this off to Nicky, and we'll get his opinions. But yeah, there's so much to go over. There the live stream, there's the news. I want to do a deep dive on Jason because of all of the slasher genre in the horror. Jason's probably the one I know the least about because I was never. He never flipped my trigger like Michael Myers did. Like Michael Myers got me going. But yeah, in a way that Jason never could. There was just something about it. Didn't do it for me. So anyway, we're going to go over that. I am excited. I mean, I've got I cannot explain to you whenever I saw this. The first thing I thought, and we even got it on the Discord, by the way, of which there is one. We even got on the Discord. Somebody was saying, can't wait. I think it was Dak. He's always on there. But he is, what was I saying? He said, I can't wait to hear you and Nicky's thoughts on Jason Voorhees in this game because everybody is asking about Jason Voorhees. Well, it's a 10th anniversary of DVD. And this is the biggest thing they could have got, I think. Like, I cannot at this time think of a bigger killer, a bigger win for them. Now, will this win mean a whole lot? Will this change?
Episode 85. Can you believe this shit? 85 times we've had to sit here and talk about this goddamn game while BHVR tries to ruin my life.
Right.
And don't even get me started on the big news.
Why?
Jason Voorhees? June 16th? About motherfucking time those suits in Montreal pulled their heads out of their asses and got the king of Crystal Lake. But let's be real. They're gonna find a way to fuck it up. They'll give him some pussy-ass honor code or some bullshit meter that penalizes you for doing your goddamn job. If I can't put a machete through a teenager's skull and then stand there for 2 minutes making sure he stays dead, then what the fuck are we even doing here? It's a disgrace to the Sabam name. And Beaver, that goddamn hack. I saw 10 minutes of that live stream, and I nearly put my fist through my monitor. He's playing like a total prick, missing basic-ass lunges, and then complaining about map pressure? You don't have map pressure because you got no balls, Beaver. You gotta commit to the tunnel. You gotta embrace the basement. Back in episode 84, we talked about his little conspiracy theories. But seeing him actually play, it's a goddamn tragedy. It's culinary purgatory in digital form, I swear to God. How have I been playing? I've been playing like a goddamn revolutionary, that's how. I've been running the twins non-stop because Victor is the only one in this goddamn game who understands loyalty. I parked that little meatball right under the hook and I don't move a fucking inch. These Swift groups come in with their flashlights and their background player bullshit, and I just show them how the family business works. You step into my basement, you don't walk out. That's the law. I'm sick of these survivors thinking they can just gen rush me and then teabag at the gates. I've been tunneling every goddamn Dwight I see until they disconnect. It's about sending a message. It's about respect. Now let's get into this deep dive before I have a goddamn stroke. What else we got?
Okay, I'm confused because I thought he knew that Beaver was the name for BHVR. Like, that's why I referenced it. Maybe he's forgotten. I have no fucking idea. But anyway, so let's talk about this who's what's it? The live stream video, okay? So Behavior on their stream, they do this live stream. Okay, I can turn the music off now. So they do this live stream, and the live stream was tied to the new killer, but we didn't know that yet. Now, what they did was they had this live stream that was just it was a cabin stream or a cabin gate or whatever they want to fuck. It was a mystery reveal, and it was hours. I think it was like 10 hours or more of a cabin with like sound effects and just like, I don't know. I think this was their idea of building hype, but it was just a fucking cabin. And everybody said, oh, it's Slender Man. Oh, it's, this or that or the other thing. And then the leaves were rustling, and then everybody online became an expert in cabins. Everybody was an expert in cabins or leaves or something. That was, that was the only thing. There was no real hints as this thing was going on of what was coming. Nobody could figure this shit out. No rational person. But then again, you know what happens? At the end, the Jason trailer comes out, and then everybody is like, oh, I fucking knew it. Like they retroactively figured everything out. You know how people do. That's just their way. Now, it was, to say the least, it was poorly received. This shit was behavior being behavior. And that was, the last time they did some kind of big fucking live stream was Chandler Riggs on there. And he got the shit, like they DDoS that thing. It fucking was a failure. This one's a fucking failure. That's just, they don't know how to do this kind of thing, okay? They really do not. Now, Jason, is he a big deal for this game? Now, why is it... Oh, no. Okay, that's a short one. Oh, thank God. So now that's the big thing. Now, is it going to stay a big thing? I don't even fucking know. But let me go. Hey, Nikki, that live stream from Behavior was literally 10 hours of a shack on screen teasing Jason. But nobody knew because it was literally just a shack in the woods. Oh my God. And that was, I'm sorry, but it was bad. Like, to say it was good was like fucking shit. Like, there is no redemption there on that. Now, if we keep going and to talk about Jason, in my opinion, and to talk about it on our hit segment, you know it. We haven't been here in a month. I miss these songs. Survivors. This game is it's a good fucking song. I'm sorry. I love it. It is actually, yeah, if you check the Spotify, I listen to that song outside of the podcast, which I love. Anyway, so Jason, like I said, I didn't know a lot about Jason, so we need to learn more about Jason because I just know like part of the first movie. I think I've seen part of about 5 of these movies. I don't even know how many movies there are in total. And there's somebody out there that's just losing their shit because they know every single movie, every single plot beat, every single fucking thing about this movie. But we need to do a Jason deep dive here, which I am very, very excited for. Now, how are we going to do this deep dive? The first thing I actually need to do, in my opinion, is do the whole fucking, where is it?
10 hours? 10
What?
motherfucking hours of a goddamn wooden box? Are you shitting me, Teach?
No.
I've seen more action in a ShopRite frozen food aisle during a power outage.
How does he-
This is exactly what I'm
ShopRite?
talking about with these beaver clowns. They got the audacity, the unmitigated gall to stream
Yes.
a pile of lumber for half a goddamn bay and call it marketing? That's not a tease. That's psychological warfare.
It really
I bet that
is.
intern Kyle was sitting there in the back room, huffing sniffing a fresh stick of Elmer's, watching the viewer count climb while he's looking at a picture of a shack he probably found on Google Images. It's a surveillance state, I'm telling you. They're monitoring our patience levels to see how much more survival bullshit they can shove down our throats before we all snap. A shack?
Totally
a
wrong.
shack? Every map has a shack, you stunad. I've spent half my natural-born life looping around shacks, getting blinded by some P100 Nia with the flashlight she probably stole from her stepdad. If I wanted to stare at a shack for 10 hours, I'd move back to the woods in Jersey where Two-Tone Tony keeps his special shipments.
Oh, Jesus.
June 16th. They better have Jason doing more than just standing there looking at the architecture. If I don't see a machete going through a skull within the first 5 seconds of the match, I'm gonna lose it. And don't give me no game integrity speech, Beaver. You wasted 10 hours of my life.
Now
You
he
owe
calls him
me.
Beaver.
You owe the family. You think Sable Ward's gonna perform a ritual in that shack? Not on my watch. That's my office. I'm gonna be camping that shack so hard, Jason's gonna think he's back at the bottom of the lake. It's a goddamn disgrace.
Yes.
Finish the goddamn trailer and give us the killer already. Stu nods.
Yes, exactly. It was bad to say the least. So anyway, what we need to do, I believe, and you know we're going to do this on the fly, is we need to make a song about our deep dive. And I don't know how this is going to go, but we need a song. We have to have a song. Yes, thank you for the 12 people that know. Hey, we need a good song for the Camping Them Softly episode 85 deep dive on Jason Voorhees. Voorhees as the new killer. Use this information to make us a badass deep dive intro song, bitch. Don't hold back. Make it hilarious, vulgar, everything Camping Them Softly needs it to be, right? Okay, to be. All right. Now I'm going to paste a shitload of stuff. Actually, what I'm doing is I'm pasting the plot lines of all, apparently there are 12 Friday the 13th movies. Yes, thank you, crowd, for knowing that there's shitty fucking, shitty fucking movies. I think they're all shit. Okay. Now, the name of oh my God, I love it. I think this is going to be great. It's going to be great. It's called, the name of the song is Machete with Mommy Issues. What?
I wanted to make fun of stupid people while I get drunk. My two true passions.
There we go. Okay, so it's still coming. It's still making this song. I cannot wait for the world premiere of Machete with Mommy Issues. Let me, this is good. Let me get this in here. And I hope it doesn't give me like death metal vocals. Because even though I like death metal instrumentals, I do not like death metal vocals all that much. I think you've got to be pretty good at those kind of vocals. Like if you know the band Opeth, to me that guy Michael Ackerfeld, he does death metal vocals correct. A lot of people don't like that, just the one that to me, no. Okay, so I'm gonna do Jason Voorhees deep dive, and then let's get here, and then let's create, and then let's go back here, and then we're gonna go create. And I'm going to create a couple of different versions just because the new version of Suno, the music maker, has been very underwhelming, to say the least. And I feel like I've been getting better shit from the old model. So without further ado, I think we're almost ready. Machete with Mommy Issues, the world premiere. Oh, I'm so excited. I am so excited. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready for Machete with Mommy Issues? I know I am. Okay, here we go. Oh, by the way, the genre is horror, metal, funk, rap, rock intro, apparently.
Episode 85, Camp Crystal Lake, dead by daylight, and the man with the mask finally walked into the fire.
Ooh.
Pamela did the murders. Jason got the merch. That's show business, baby. Now get in the dirt! First damn movie, Jason wasn't even there. Just a wet little jump scare with lake water hair. Mama Voorhees caught counselors making bad choices. Started slicing up teens like unpaid invoices.
I like it.
Open, everybody got wet. Kevin Bacon got a bad frame arrow through the
Wait,
neck.
Kevin Bacon?
He made Pamela short. Then Jason grabbed the franchise like a basset in car. Mother said kill, now the lake said now. Machine with mommy is dead.
Dude, oh yeah.
Came at doom. He's coming through the woods like a tax bill in June.
Like a tax bill in June. I have no fucking idea. Oh, because it's June 16th he's coming. Okay, there we go. So anyway, let's go into the deep dive now. So what I want to do, I need to know more about Jason, okay? So I feel like we can truly understand what's happening here, you know, because we all know Jason. Oh, he's scary. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. But there's a lot to know, apparently. I feel like we're getting so academic with this. We're going academic on a topic that is obviously not that fucking deep, but we're gonna go into it, okay? So Jason's evolution, okay? So we're talking about where it started, okay? 1980 is where this whole thing started. First movie was the very first Friday the 13th, 1980. Now, it came after Halloween. So Halloween came out, it's the biggest fucking thing. And it wasn't known as Jason because in the first movie, the killer was not Jason, if you did not know that. So I'm curious if there's going to be a second, and we'll get into who the killer was here in a second. But Jason was not the first killer. It was somebody else that was doing the killing. Now, here is the evolution of Jason. He goes from a lake, a dead child in a lake, to an adult woods feral killer, to a ghost, to an undead zombie revenant, to a telekinetic punching bag, to a Times Square sewer monster, to a demonic body-hopping worm nightmare, to a cryogenic space cyborg, to Freddy Krueger's unwilling murder employee, to a fast survivalist trapper. And though that is the evolution of Jason Voorhees, which is just fan-fucking-tastic, okay? So let's go into kind of some of the plot beats of some of these movies. And we're going to try to figure out, what I want to try to do is I want to figure out kind of the history of Jason and what powers could he potentially have given his kind of movie history and what happens in these movies. I know this might be stupid and we may go so far off the rails that we're like, this fucking sucks. I may abandon this deep dive probably a third of the way through. That might be something I just can't even fucking handle, going through 14 fucking movies and just like, oh God. So anyway, all right. So let's go back. Jason 1. Why'd I call it Jason 1? It's Friday the 13th. Okay. So Friday the 13th. And hey, Nicky, let's, oh shit. I accidentally put, hey, Nicky, let apostrophe, and I hit enter. So he's going to fucking respond to that out loud. And it's, oh God, no. And I don't know how to stop it. Like, I don't have a good stop button for whenever I fuck up. And he's already generating something. Oh, fucking shit. This is just wasting money at this point. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, Jesus Christ. What? I guess I should just get into it, correct? Maybe. Okay, so let's go. All right, so Friday the 13th, 1980. Okay, the first one. Now, you know it takes place at Camp Crystal Lake, which is probably going to be a map in Dead by Daylight.
Let's what? Finish the goddamn sentence, Teach. You're trailing off like a survivor who just realized I got note active and their hatch just slammed shut.
I think
Spit
it's
it
Noah.
out. You want to do the deep dive? You want to talk about how these beaver bastards are going to take the most iconic slasher in history and turn him into a glorified mall security guard? 10 hours of a shack. I'm still seeing splinters every time I close my eyes.
Well,
it's
yeah.
a disgrace. A
Yes, it
mockery
is.
of the highest order.
Of
They
course
probably
it is.
spend 50 grand in man hours just to keep that stream running, while the actual game code is held together by duct tape, hope, and some leftover marinara.
Not wrong.
If I see one more goddamn pallet in a Crystal Lake map, I'm gonna fly to Montreal and personally shove a copy of Friday
Well-
the 13th Part 3 up someone's exhaust pipe. You know what's gonna happen, right? We're
What?
gonna get Jason, but he's gonna
Yeah.
have some stalking meter that only fills up if you stand still and recite the rosary in Latin. I
Oh,
want to
Jesus.
kill people, Beaver. I don't want to play a rhythm game with a machete. I want to grab a P100 Nia by her neon-colored hair and
Right.
toss her into a sleeping bag like I'm packing a cannoli for a picnic.
Well, he's-
And don't even
yeah.
get me started on the deep dive into the mechanics. If he doesn't have a passive ability called anti-Italian bias, where he gets a speed boost every time a survivor teabags,
I would
then what
like
the
it.
fuck are we even doing here? I've been running the twins lately trying to get Victor some fresh air, and I'm getting bullied by squads that probably haven't seen sunlight since the Bush administration. If Jason can't handle a flashlight to the face without crying to his mother,
Yeah.
then it's just another Tuesday in New Jersey for me. Finish your thought, Teach, before I lose what's left of my sanity.
Okay, I'm trying to. Hey, let's go over the movies first to get some lore about Jason, okay? We'll go through one by one. Okay? We'll go through one by one. First up. Okay, so Friday the 13th, part 1. They didn't know it was part 1, okay? It was just fucking Friday the 13th. So in Friday the 13th, 1980, this was back in 1980. And hang on, I don't know what that's talking about here. Is that it even says that mama. That's what the song that we made said. Oh, I think I know what they're talking about. I have not seen this shit in so long. I totally forgot about that sound. But anyway, I wonder if I could get it actually. If I Friday the 13th. Here we go. Can I pull this? No. Oh, okay. So that's the fucking sound. Okay. So anyway, so so Camp Crystal Lake, this is the camp, where a lot of the shit happens. So Jason Voorhees was a kid there, and he drowned in like 1957, and they closed the camp down, okay? Now, the locals all call it Camp Blood because what happened. Now, a character named Steve Christie is going to reopen it and get a new group of counselors, and he's going to open a daycare in this fucking camp. Okay, so that's it. That's the setup of the movie. Jason Voorhees died. Later, they're gonna reopen it, get some new counselors. Okay, that's fucking fantastic. Now, in the prologue, okay, in 1958, remember 57 is when Jason supposedly drowned. In 1958, and remember Jason was a kid in 57 when he drowned. In 58, 2 counselors sneak off to have sex, which is always what fucking happens in these movies. This might be one of the biggest, in Halloween, it was like that too, where they were talking about, they were in that car and the guy said, why don't we take off her underwear or whatever. So 2 of the counselors sneak off to have sex and they get murdered. They close down the camp. They said, no, there's murder in the camp. Yes, let's give it up for that. Okay, so now in the 80s, Christie tries to reopen the camp. And there's a woman who hitchhikes to the camp, and there's a guy named Crazy Ralph who warns her, don't go to this fucking camp, and she gets murdered in the fucking woods, okay? Yes, fucking give it up for Annie getting murdered. Okay, so now you've got Steve Christie, and he's got Yes, I know, it's fucking hilarious, this Annie situation. We've got an Annie sitch here. Now, okay, so apparently applause is necessary here for the last part. Okay, so you've got multiple counselors. You have Alice, Bill, Jack, Marcy, Ned, Brenda, and then you have Steve Christie. They're going to reopen, and there's a rainstorm, and then the counselors are all like isolated from one another. A killer comes and is killing them one by one by one by one. And guess who shows up? Is that Pamela Voorhees. Pam Voorhees. Pammy comes and is like friendly to them, but it turns out she says her son Jason drowned because the counselors were having sex instead of watching him. And Pamela attacks Alice, and Alice ends up decapitating Pamela with a machete on the shore of the lake there.
Capitalism,
okay?
God's way of determining who is smart and who is poor.
So now Alice is drifting out on a canoe. The sun is rising, and Jason bursts forth from the lake and pulls her under, and she awakens in a hospital, and the doctors say that they could not find a body of this mystery boy who pulled her under.
Holy shit, Dad's wasted again.
Now, this is the legendary movie where Kevin Bacon gets murdered. Marcy ends up getting an axe in her face. Annie gets her throat slit. Bill gets pinned to a door with arrows, and then Pamela gets decapitated by Alice. That is the plot here to this fucking masterpiece we call Friday the 13th. So you notice in the first one, Jason's not even here. There is no hockey mask. There's no nothing. Camp Crystal Lake becomes Camp Blood. And then the machete is the big thing because the machete becoming like the thing. And then Crazy Ralph is like the prophet. And then the key, mama is like kill her mommy or something like that. That's just what I'm saying. Now, Jason has no powers here, but the most famous Jason movie, Jason isn't even a fucking killer. Jason gets the franchise, but Pamela's doing all the fucking work. And this is the fucking movie. This is part one. So it starts off on a great fucking first step. Is that what they're called? They're called first steps, I think. It's like babies take them, right? Now, we're not even in good shit. We're not even to part two yet. I can't wait. I want to pull up more detailed Friday the 13th. The 13th. What is the next one? Part two. I think it's like Hot Shots Part 2 or something. Have you ever seen Hot Shots Part 2? It's not Friday the 13th. It's Friday the 13th Part 2, Part Dos, Bloodlines. Or that was Hellraiser. Maybe it's Friday the 13th Part 2, Nerds in Love. Although the Revenge of the Nerds movies were coming out around this time, and they're fantastic. They're fucking fantastic movies. So anyway, let's go to the next Friday the 13th movie, okay? So we're at Friday the 13th Part 2. I don't know if Nikki's going to have anything to say about part one. Was kind of, it's a good idea. It's apparently a decent movie. I'm just going by what I'm reading here.
85 episodes, and now we're doing a goddamn book report? You're reading off the Wikipedia page like you're auditioning for a teaching job at a community college. But fine, let's talk about Pamela, a woman of focus, a woman of conviction. She saw a problem. These deadbeat counselors having a horizontal mambo instead of watching the kid, and she handled it. That's a BAM energy right there. She was protecting the integrity of the camp before there even was a basement to camp in. And look at these notable kills. Kevin Bacon gets an arrow through the the throat from under the bed? That's called the lack of situational awareness, Teach. If he'd been running alert or even a low-tier premonition, he'd still be flipping burgers. But no, he's too busy relaxing.
Jesus
In the fog,
Christ.
if you relax for 1 second, you get a machete in the face or a hook in the shoulder. It's a goddamn meritocracy of violence.
Oh,
And
God.
kiki ma ma ma. I've
Kiki,
heard more
ki, ma,
intimidating
ma, ma.
sounds from a broken espresso machine in a Little Italy deli. But you mentioned the bacon kid, and that brings back a memory I've been trying to drown in a vat of spicy marinara for
Jesus
a decade.
Christ.
You ever been to Bacon, Georgia, Teach? Don't look for it on a map. The state probably burned the records
I
to
think
save
it's
on
Macon,
taxes.
Georgia, is it
Population,
not?
3 toothless guys and a very confused raccoon. I was
Oh,
passing
Jesus
through there
Christ.
back in 12, right? I had a trunk full of imported olive oil that was definitely not stolen from a warehouse in Jersey, and my
good
GPS just
fucking
gives up the
God.
ghost. Just pff, black screen, like a
Right.
goddamn EMP hit it. I pull into this diner
Oh,
on the edge of
Jesus.
town. The sizzling
Yeah.
plate. The sign was missing the P and the L, so it just said sizzling 8, which should have been my first fucking warning. I
What
walk
is-
in, and the whole place
Oh,
smells like
Jesus.
wet dog and copper. You know that smell? The smell of a lobby when the killer is bringing a Maury? Yeah, and
I
sitting
guess.
right there at the counter, staring at a bowl of cold grits like it's the holy grail, is this guy. He's wearing a counselor's shirt, Teach. Faded yellow.
Okay.
Smells like lake water. And he looks at me, and I swear on my mother's grave, the guy's eyes were just empty, like 2 holes poked in a cardboard box. I ask him
Okay.
for directions to the interstate, and he doesn't say a word. He just
What is
points
he
a shaky
fucking
finger
talking
at a
about?
map on the wall that's been bleeding red ink for 20 years. This is
What?
what I'm talking about with these counselors. They're all the same. Useless.
Okay.
Brain dead. If I see one more
okay.
person in a yellow polo shirt, I'm gonna lose my goddamn
Is he
mind.
taking
We're
the
talking
side
about
of
the
the
origin
killers?
of a legend, and all I can think about is that creep in bacon and how he looked at my noodle arms like they were on the fucking menu. Vaffanculo. Next movie. Spit it out.
Next movie. Okay, here we go. So there's Friday the 13th part 2, okay? Bloodlines. Or no, it's not anything like that. Okay, so in part 2, okay, here's the setup. So Jason is an adult and he is, around. So 2 months after the first one, you remember Alice from the first one, she survived. She went to the hospital. They said we didn't find a boy. So she goes to get her cat some food, okay? She finds the severed head in the fridge. She finds the severed head of Pamela Voorhees. Wait. Okay, give it up for severed heads of Pamela Voorhees. And then she gets murdered with an ice pick in her apartment. Now, the question is, who murdered her in her apartment? Where is she living? I don't even fucking know. But now, 5 years after that, so remember, that was 2 months after baby Jason pulled her under. And now 5 years after that, the guy named Paul Hope, Paulie H, opens a school for camp counselors. And now Paul's assistant, Jenny, and Sandra and Sandra's boyfriend, Jeff, Scott, Terry, there's a paraplegic named Mark, Vicky, Ted, and those are all like the counselors that opened the thing. So Paul, like that night, there's a campfire, and Paul says, hey, there was this boy who drowned. And when this boy drowned, Pamela Voorhees went on 2 killing sprees in 58 and 79, and Alice killed her in self-defense. That was the story here, is that Alice killed her in self-defense. Now, according to the legend, this is what Paulie H is saying, is that Jason survived and is now living in the woods, and he will kill anybody because he is so enraged that Alice killed his mom. Okay.
Right, I'll tell you what, you fat little cunt. You're boring. You don't sound Nigerian at all.
Now, this is fucking silly. Now, they go crazy, but Ted, they get scared because they think Jason's coming, but it's Ted in a mask with a spear. And Paul says, hey, Jason's dead, and Camp Crystal Lake is now off limits, okay? So I don't know how Camp Crystal Lake is off limits, but he opened a school for camp counselors. So that's the thing. This is not even a camp anymore. It's a school for camp counselors. Okay, so remember Crazy Ralph from the first movie. And Crazy Ralph goes onto the property and watches Jenny and Paul making out, but he gets murdered. He gets garroted by an unseen killer, which I don't know. Maybe it's Jason. Maybe it's fucking not. And Jeff, in the next day, okay, so Ralph, Ralph dies. So the next day, Jeff and Sandra go off, but they get caught. They find a dog carcass. Who knows what the dog carcass is? But Deputy Winslow, I guess he's a cop. He takes him, sends him back to camp. Get out of here. Quit looking at the fucking dog. That's the thing. Okay, now there is a detective then sees a man wearing a burlap sack running across the road, and Winslow chases him and finds a shack. And then the man kills Winslow with a hammer claw. Okay, so there's the shack. That was from the 10-hour fucking video. This movie is not 10 hours long. Okay, so let's move on with part 2. Okay, here we go. So now, if we keep, how long is this fucking thing? Okay, so now at the camp, Paulie H they're in town, but they're getting ready to go to the camp to fucking learn how to be camp counselors. Okay, so now Jeff and Sandra get in trouble for sneaking off. And so they stay behind along with like 6 other people. So there is, if Jason, so Jenny, one of these people, I guess Jenny is with Paul. She says Jason may have no moral compass because about his mother's death, if he saw his mom die. But Paul says that Jason is just an urban legend. He's not real. Fuck it, whatever. Now, the assailant, whoever is killing these people, goes to the camp and starts killing them one by one, okay? So that's the big thing. So Scott's throat gets slit with a machete while he gets caught in a rope trap. Terry gets killed whenever she finds Scott is killed. Mark gets a machete in his face, falls down a flight of stairs. And then Jeff and Sandra get impaled with a spear as they have sex. And then he stabs Vicky to death with a kitchen knife. So he's killed them all. That's it. And then the others, remember, are at the bar. And so whenever they go back, and Ted stays at the bar, but Jenny and Paul go back to the camp. And they see that shit has hit the fan here at the park. Now, the killer is chasing Paul and Jenny finds the shack and barricades herself inside, and she finds an altar, and Pamela Voorhees' severed head is on it, and there's bodies piled up, and one of them is Alice, the other one is Terry, and then Deputy Winslow. They're all piled on top of each other. And now she says, oh my God, Jason Voorhees is the fucking killer. Let's give it up for Jason Voorhees being the killer. Now, Jenny, with her bright idea, here's Jenny's bright idea. There's Pamela Voorhees' sweater. Let's put the shit on and say that we're Jason's mom. Maybe he's this fucking stupid that he doesn't even know. Now, Jason falls for it. He said, oh, mommy, thank you for coming back to me after all these years. But then he sees his mom's severed head as if he doesn't remember putting it there. He sees it and he's like, oh, my mom is dead. This is not my mom. This is a woman wearing my dead, the severed head mother's sweater. And so he breaks out. And Paul comes to save Jenny, but Jason incapacitates him. And Jenny, he's getting ready to kill Paul, and Jenny takes a machete to Jason's shoulder and apparently kills him. That's like that.
What in the hell is this crap?
I know. Now, Paul and Jenny return to the cabin and hear someone outside. So they went from the shack back to the cabin, and they find Terry's dog Muffin, and they're like, oh, okay, everything's fine. Now, Jason bursts through the window and grabs Jenny, but he's not wearing a mask anymore. He doesn't have the burlap sack on, and she passes out, but she awakens and calls out for Paul, and they can't find Paul. Who knows where fucking Paul is? And the final shot is Pamela's head on the altar. Who knows where the fuck Jason is? So that is the final fucking plot beat for
me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
That is part 2 of fucking Friday the 13th.
Fun of stupid people while I get drunk. My 2 true passions.
So now we've got adult Jason. We've got the attachment between him and Pamela. We've got the fact that he has some weakness for his mother. But notice, even after part 2, we do not have the hockey mask here. Which is interesting. We haven't gotten to the biggest part of the whole Jason imagery yet. So, so that's where we're going. So we know he's obsessed with his mom. We know he's got some super strength, right? Because he's getting fucking hit with a machete and he's still surviving. And then we've developed some of the lore here. Now, he's still not what we think of as Jason. And you know, the good part, or let me think of this, the potential of his powers here. He's shown that he knows how to stalk people. He's shown that he has super strength. I don't know how these are going to be shown in Dead by Daylight, and this might have to be a part 2 deep dive, to be honest with you. I don't know that we're going to be able to get through all 12 of these movies, given that we've only gotten through 2 of the movies, and I sped through the first movie. But where's my song? I need to go back to the song to see about the lyrics. I need to go back and see what these lyrics are to see. Okay, so Pamela did the murders. Jason got the merch. Has show business, maybe get in the dirt. First damn movie, Jason wasn't even there. A little wet jump scare with lake water hair. Mama Voorhees caught the counselors making bad choices. Started slicing up teens like unpaid invoice. Okay, Kevin Bacon got a bed frame arrow through the neck. Alice took a machete, made Pamela short. Then Jason grabbed the franchise like a bastard in court. Okay, so that's what we do. Okay, now do we have, part two. Let me see. I'm going to go back.
With mommy issues, hockey mask doom. He's coming through the woods like a tax bill in June.
Okay, here's where we got. Machete with mommy issues.
So the scream, camping them softly, dragged his ass into the drain.
Okay, I'm ready.
Part 2, grown as Jason in a bag on his head. Got a shack in the woods with his mother's dead head. Jenny played dress up, frozen with the sweater. Psychological warfare from a final girl professor.
Okay, there we go, where she played dress up. Okay, so it did actually talk about that. Okay, I was curious if the song was smart enough to go through. Okay, so
Part 2, the burlap-sack era, before the corporate hockey mask sellout. You're talking about Jason living in a shack like some kind of off-the-grid tax evader. That's my natural habitat, Teach. I spent more time in the shack than some of these beaver devs have spent looking at a line of code without crying. And Alice gets an ice pick to the temple in her own kitchen? That's a spawn kill. Pure and simple. If I tried that in the fog, the entity would probably give me a 3-day ban and a sternly worded email about player experience. But look at Jason. He's a tactical genius. He's got traps. He's got the terrain. He's basically a trapper-main who actually knows how to hide a goddamn bear trap in the grass. And Mark, poor bastard in the wheelchair, gets a machete to the face and rolls down the stairs? That's what happens when you don't have an exhaustion perk, you stunad. You think a ramp is gonna save you from a 7-foot-tall undead Italian American equivalent of a Mack truck? Va fanculo. And don't even get me started on the sweater. Ginny puts on a dusty, moth-eaten garment, and Jason just stands there like a deer in the headlights? That's a goddamn exploit. If a survivor tried to impersonate my mother to get out of a basement hook, I'd hit him with a Maury so fast their head would spin like a fucking pizza dough. Speaking of mothers and shacks and places that shouldn't exist, you mentioning the name Pamela just triggered a goddamn core memory I tried to bury under a mountain of Monte Coffee. This was back in 94. I was driving a borrowed Lincoln Continental through the backwoods of upstate New York, trying to dodge a disagreement with a guy named Pinky over some bad parlay bets. I take a wrong turn, right? The fog gets so thick I can't see the hood ornament. I end up in this town. Wasn't even on the paper map, Teach. Called Pamela. The town sign was just a piece of plywood nailed to a dead oak tree. Welcome to Pamela. We're all family here. I pull into the only gas station, and the guy behind the counter, he's wearing a sweater in the middle of July. He looks at me, doesn't say a word, just points to a jar of pickled eggs that look like they'd been sitting there since the fucking Truman administration. I ask him for directions to the interstate, and he just whispers, "She's watching the roads, Nicky." How the fuck did he know my name? I hadn't even opened my mouth. I felt like I was walking into a goddamn trial before the entity even had its first cup of coffee. I got back in the car, and I'm telling you, the air smelled like old yarn and copper, like blood in a grandmother's closet. I put that Lincoln in gear and I didn't look back, but the road just kept looping back to that same goddamn plywood sign. But we're talking about Jason. Focus, Teach. You're telling me he's mortal coated in part 2? He's just a guy who can take a machete to the shoulder and keep coming. That ain't a man. That's a goddamn killer with enduring and spirit fury baked into his DNA. If Beaver doesn't give him a shrine mechanic where he gets a speed boost for every survivor he scares the shit out of near his mother's head, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
You know what?
What's part 3? When does he get the mask and start playing for keeps? Spit it out.
Now, there's the question, could they potentially have a mechanic where his mother's head is impaled on a spike and there you get a sweater and that somehow makes you invisible to the killer? I don't know, but that is an idea right there. $1 million fucking idea. So I'm in on that. I am all in there. And it is fucking hot in here. And I'm going to play the song. No, not that song. I want to go back and play the fucking toxic news because I have to turn on the fucking fan. I am about to fucking I'm about to pass out here. Hang on. Oh, there we go.
The only toxic fucking news. Toxic fucking news. Fucking news that's toxic. Toxic news. Oh yeah. It's the toxic fucking news. New killers suck. Survivors OP.
Okay, and we're back. Oh, thank God. So we're at 50 minutes. We're part 3 out of fucking 12. This is going to be a 2-parter. I don't think there's any way we could do this in one part. There's no fucking way. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back to Friday the 13th. So we are, hang on, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to, I can't with the music while I'm trying to go. Okay, so part 3 of the fucking, the fucking, what do we call it? The magnum opus or what is the word? The epic that is the Friday the 13th fucking franchise here. And I'm curious here. Actually, I want to go back. I want to see Friday the 13th, part 1. How much money did it make? Actually, it made $59 million whenever it came out. That's a lot of fucking money. And then part 2 made $21 million whenever it came out. Part 3 made $36.7 million. So it actually went up. Part 3 was actually released the year I was born. I was 1 month old whenever part 3 came out. So that is, okay. So we're at part 3. And now, remember, Ginny was one of the ones from the second one, and she put the machete in Jason's arm, okay? So now Jason is injured, and I guess this is right after part 2, okay? So remember, he gets injured, And he goes to, what the fuck? I'm just reading these, and it says a badly injured Jason goes to a lakefront store for a change of clothes. I guess he's going shopping now. And when he goes, he murders the store owner and his wife, Edna. So he's at Camp Crystal Lake. He murders and gets a new outfit, I guess.
Fathers, grandfathers, little baby rats.
Now, meanwhile, there's a guy named Chris. Chris Higgins is going with her friends to Higgins Haven, which is, I guess, a home on Crystal Lake. I guess that's what she calls her home. Names it after her fucking self. Now, here's the gang, okay? Because there's always a gaggle of people. Now, there's Debbie, who is pregnant. There's Debbie's boyfriend. Apparently, they're having a child out of wedlock in 1982. Andy is the boyfriend of pregnant Debbie. Okay, so remember, pregnant Debbie, there's boyfriend Andy. Okay, so we got to remember these. There's self-named house Chris. There's pregnant Debbie. There's boyfriend Andy. There is Shelly, who is apparently a prankster. And then Shelly is a guy, apparently. So there's guy prankster Shelly, and then his blind date who doesn't like him, Vera. So Vera's on a date with guy prankster Shelly. And then there's Chuck and Chili, who are both potheads.
You know, fish, chips, cup of tea, bad food, worse weather, Merry fucking Poppins, London.
So when they're on the way to Higgins Haven, they run into a guy named Abel, who I guess is like Crazy Ralph or whatever his name is, who tells them to go back. And at the Higgins Haven, they meet Chris, self-named house Chris, her boyfriend Rick, whenever they get to Higgins Haven. Okay, so now they get to on the way they get to a convenience store where guy prankster Shelly and blind date Vera get into some kind of a fight with some bikers, Allie, Fox, and Loco. I don't fucking know. There could be Loco, Chili, Chuck, Fox, Vera, Shelly, Andy. Like, this is ridiculous. Now, Shelly, guy prankster Shelly, knocks down their motorcycles with his car. And now they break it. They take a chain and they break the front window. And Shelly, guy prankster Shelly, is going to knock down the bike again to impress blind date Vera, who doesn't even fucking like him. And the bikers are going to burn the barn down at Higgins Haven and siphon gas out of the van to where the gas it can't even go anywhere. But Jason has been hiding inside this barn that they're going to burn down, and he murders he murders Fox and Loco, two of the bikers. Oh my God. So, and then Allie, the other biker, is now unconscious. Now, Chris, self-named house Chris, and her boyfriend Rick go into the woods, and she says 2 years prior she was attacked by a deformed man. Oh my God. See, now I've got the sound effect. This adds to the fucking thing here. Okay, now she says the main reason she returned was to confront her fears, and her memory of the incident is unclear. So that is the thing there with that. Okay, so here's the first part of the F13 part 3 plot. I have to give it to Nicky in pieces. This is too fucking much. And oh my God. So that is this is a masterpiece of cinema. Like we don't even know. Okay. So now she says she can't remember a whole lot. So we're led to believe that Chris was attacked by Jason 2 years prior to this. And remember, this was before the events with Jenny and Ted and all of that in part 2 that Chris was attacked. So this was going on as kind of like either a prequel to part 2. So like between part 1 where baby Jason, and then part 2 with adult Jason. And then part 3, the first part, the Chris part of part fucking I don't know. This is fucking ridiculous. So the timeline is already fucking wild. Okay. So that is that. Now, the Higgins Haven, they're back at Higgins Haven. Now, Shelly, who, I can't even remember, guy prankster Shelly scares Vera, blind date Vera with a hockey mask, and then wanders into the barn. Jason emerges wearing Shelly's mask, and Vera gets, what the fuck is it? Shelly gets shot. Okay, so Vera gets shot in the eye with a spear gun, and then Jason comes into the house and kills Andy, or slices him with a machete. Debbie is showering and she rests on a hammock, and Jason thrusts a knife through her chest from beneath the hammock. Now, the power goes out in the house. Who the fuck knows why? Chuck goes downstairs and gets hurled into the fuse box and electrocuted. One of the stoners, Chili, finds Shelly bleeding to death, was slashed in the throat. He thinks it's a joke, and Jason impales Chili with a fireplace poker. So this is where they get like one by one by one by one. This is the meat of the movie.
Higgins Haven! Finally! We're getting to the good stuff. Part 3 is where the magic happens. And by magic, I mean Jason finally finding his goddamn brand identity. You're telling me he starts the movie by whacking Harold and Edna just cause he needs a fresh pair of slacks? That's called efficiency, Teach. That's looting the basement chest before the match even starts.
Well,
Harold and Edna probably didn't even have spine chill equipped. Just sitting there like a couple of rank 20s while a 7-foot-tall meat grinder walks into their kitchen. And don't get me started on these bikers. Ali, Fox, and Loco? They think they're some kind of high-prestige, coordinated Swift because they can siphon gas and break a windshield with a chain? That's a secondary objective, you idiots. You should be on the gens. But Jason's already in the barn, which is basically just a bigger version of the shack, waiting with the pitchfork. He gives him the old 1-2, pitchfork to the throat. That's a Maury. That's a goddamn work of art.
Correct.
He beats Ali unconscious like he's slugging for a 4-man bleed out. It's beautiful.
Okay,
and Shelly, this prankster prick, he's exactly the kind of survivor I hate. He's the guy who brings a red herring perk and a purple flashlight just to click it at the killer and then hide in a locker while everyone else dies. He's knocking over motorcycles looking for attention from Vera. But all he's doing is building up the killer's play with your food stacks. You think a hockey mask is scary? Try having Shelly as your teammate when you're on second hook and he's busy doing a goddamn card trick in the corner. You mentioning Higgins Haven brings back a real sour taste in my mouth.
Again.
And I ain't talking about some store-bought, watery-ass marinara. Back in 04, before I was the conciliary to the entity, I had a run-in at a place they called Higgins. But it wasn't no summer retreat for teenagers. It was a cold storage facility out in Secaucus, run by a guy who looked like he'd been chewed up by a wood chipper and spat out into a soup. My associate, Two-Tone Tony, tells me we gotta drop off a package for the Higgins family. A simple deliver and disappear job, right? But when we roll up to the gate, the whole place is dead silent. No guards, no dogs, just the sound of the wind whistling through the corrugated metal. We walk into the main bay and the lights are flickering like a goddamn nurse is blinking through the walls. We get to the foreman's office and the door is hanging off its hinges. I step inside and there's no foreman, just a desk, a rotary phone off the hook, and a single solitary hockey mask sitting right in the middle of the blotter. It wasn't no cheap plastic toy either. It was heavy, fiberglass, and it had a fresh smear of grease and blood running down the forehead. Tony looks at it, turns white as a sheet, and says, Nicky, I don't think this is a sanitation business. I think we just walked into a trial. I should have listened to him right then and there, but I was too busy looking at the wall where someone had carved Camp Blood into the goddamn drywall with a screwdriver. This was the start of something real ugly, Teach. Real ugly.
Cue the sound. Okay, so so Chili just got killed, right? And so they are Chili was killed with this fireplace poker. Now, Rick's car breaks down. Because they're going back to the house, right? And so whenever they go in the house, they find it in a state of disarray, right? There's shit everywhere. There's blood, there's death, there's fucking destruction, there's everything. Now, Jason then crushes Rick's skull with his bare hands and makes one of his eyes pop out of his sockets like he's fucking, what's his name, Oberyn Martell in fucking Game of Thrones. And then Jason attacks Chris, and Chris tries to flee in the van, but the van is running out of gas because the bikers fucking siphon all the gas out. So it's coming back. See, this is all okay. So Chris then tries to use the reserve tank, but she runs out of time, and the wheel like falls through a bridge as she's going across, but she goes into the barn to hide, and Jason is attacking her in the barn, and she hits him over the head with a shovel, and she fucking hangs him from a rope. Now, he passes out, but he regains consciousness and removes his mask to get off the noose. And now Chris looks at his unmasked face, and she said, "That's the guy who fucking attacked me 2 years ago." And remember, Ollie almost got beat to death, but he wakes up and he goes and attacks Jason, but Jason finishes him off. And then that distracts him. And then Chris hits him in the head with an axe. And then he collapses, and she gets a canoe, goes out in the lake, and falls asleep. And when she's asleep, she has a nightmare of Jason running toward her and then disappearing. And then they see the decomposed body. The last shot of the movie is decomposed Pamela Voorhees with her head attached, and she's going to pull Chris into the water from the canoe. And then they find a traumatized Chris. The police find her, and then Jason is still lying down in the barn, and he is potentially fucking dead. So that is part fucking 2 of my synopsis of part 3 of fucking Friday the 13th. I hate this fucking, okay, second half of the movie. Oh God, this is exhausting to go over all 3 of these movies. I don't know. How am I even going to go through all this shit? But you notice this is where Jason gets the hockey mask. This is where, Edna gets a knitting needle through her skull. Rick gets his skull crushed. Andy gets split down the middle while doing a handstand. Vera gets a spear gun through her eye. And this is like the first of like, this is fucking Jason. And so that is where, this is where everything kind of comes into its own. And this is where also Jason is no longer just like a dude. Jason is a fucking monster at this point. And this is where it actually becomes a thing. Like Friday the 13th becomes part of like the horror fucking zeitgeist at this point. So that is Friday the 13th part 3. And I am fucking tired now. And what do we have in our song for part 3? This is the worst fucking podcast I've ever done, I think. Or maybe it's the best. I don't even fucking know. I want to go find a different version of our Jason Voorhees song.
Episode 85.
This is a good version. Wow, this is actually pretty fucking good.
Pamela did the murders. Jason got the merch. That's your business, baby.
I love it. This is better than the first one.
Damn movie, Jason wasn't even there. Just a wet little jump scare with lake water. Making bad choices. Started slicing up things like going paid for vices. Can blood opened, everybody got a wreck. Kevin Bacon got a bed frame arrow through the neck.
Oh, this one's good, dude.
Pamela short, then Jason grabbed the franchise like a bastard in court. Mother said kill, now the lake said no.
Oh, I love it.
Oh,
I love this. I love it.
Episode 85,
Whoa,
and
whoa.
we're talking about a guy getting axed in the dome after he crushes a man's skull so hard his eye pops out like a cork on a bottle of cheap Prosecco. That's what I'm talking about, Teach. That's the energy we need in the fog. Not this pussy ass, hurry up and repair the toaster bullshit Beaver is peddling. Jason in part 3 is a goddamn artist. He's
Yes.
finding his style. He takes Shelly's mask, which, let's be honest, Shelly wasn't using for nothing but being a goddamn creep, and he turns it into a brand. That's marketing.
What?
That's leverage. And Vera, shot in the eye with a spear gun from the dock? If I tried that with Deathslinger, the goddamn chain would probably snap because some intern named Kyle at BHVR decided my harpoon physics were too oppressive
This is
to the
where they got the
survivor's
spear
feelings.
gun.
It's a disgrace. A mockery of the highest order. And Andy doing the handstand? You're in a slasher movie, you stunad. You don't show off your goddamn core strength. You run. You find a pallet. You
Well, I
find a
don't know if
window.
he knew.
But no, he's upside down getting split like a piece of firewood. That's a Maury if I ever saw one. And Chris,
Okay,
looping him
Chris.
in the barn,
Yeah.
hitting him with a shovel. She's playing like a P100 Fung Min with a
Fung.
purple flashlight. She's probably got decisive strike and adrenaline equipped,
Well,
just
true.
waiting for the police to show up so she can act like a victim. But listen, all this talk about shacks and barns and Jason, it's bringing back some memories I tried to drown in a
Oh,
bucket
Jesus.
of spicy
No!
marinara
No
years
more
ago.
memories!
Back in 94, I was staying in a
Please,
place they
God,
called the
no more
Basin, out past the marshes in Jersey. It wasn't no summer camp. It was
Oh,
a
Jesus.
distribution center for the family. I'm talking crates of VCRs and Laserdisc players stacked to the goddamn ceiling. And the only counselors were guys with names like Loose Lip Larry and The Hammer.
What the
One
fuck is
Tuesday, the fog rolls in, real
Yeah.
thick, like the kind you see in the trials when someone burns a goddamn shroud. And the
Yeah.
foreman, a guy who looked exactly like a bloated trapper with a worse attitude,
jeez.
tells us we gotta stay overnight because the merchandise is sensitive. I'm sitting there in the break room trying to enjoy a cold meatball sub when the power goes out. And I don't mean a
Okay.
fuse blew, Teach.
What
I
is-
mean someone or something cut the goddamn lines with a fucking hacksaw.
Yeah.
And then I hear it.
Oh,
the
no.
sound of a heavy-ass pair of boots dragging across the concrete floor of Bay 4. And I knew for a fact it wasn't Larry because Larry was wearing loafers he stole from a dead
Larry
guy in
loafers?
Weehawken. This sounded like metal. Metal scraping on stone.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We don't have enough time. But hey, Nikki, we got to wrap up episode 85. Wrap up episode 85. Only got through 3 of the 12 movies. What should our outro genre be this week? We'll finish up the movies next week or next time on part 2 of the deep dive. Because I am tired. We don't have time. We're at an hour and 10 minutes, I believe. Almost an hour and 20. Is that an hour and 20 or is that 2 hours? See, I never know because it shows 1:10:54 and I don't know if that's 1 hour 10 minutes or well, I guess that would be 1 hour and 10 minutes, right? I don't fucking know. Has it been 1 hour and 10 minutes? Or 2 hours? 3 hours? I don't know. I think it would show, if it was 2, it'd show 2:00 or something. Or 1. See, I don't know if it's 1:20 is 2 hours or 2:00 is 2 hours. I have no fucking idea. But what I do know is it's time for us to wrap up episode 85 of Camping Them Softly. By the way, if you guys are Arc Raiders fans, check out Camping the Extract on all of your favorite podcast platforms.
Your time is done, and I think that the spotlight should go on top of me.
And also, I don't know if I have any other big news. We have Camping the Extract, obviously. The Toxic Teacher is still being worked on. The website, Toxic Teacher, thetoxicteacher.com. And yeah, we will be back next week. We should be back with the next part of our deep dive. I'm not recording the whole episode right now and then splitting it down the middle because what if we have some more news that we've got to cover? So we will be back with another episode next week. I can tell you that for sure. And we haven't done Space Jason. We haven't done Zombie Jason. We haven't done any of that, like Freddy versus Jason, where I think they team up or something like that. I don't even know what happens in that one, but we'll get through them all because this is going to be a big fucking deal whenever this new chapter comes out. I don't know when the PTB is going to drop, but you know everybody's going to be on that. I almost wish on this one that there was not a PTB.
3 movies? You're telling me we're cutting the feed after only 3 movies?
Correct.
That's like kicking a generator once and thinking you've applied mat pressure, while the other 4 survivors are teabagging at the exit gates. We haven't even gotten to the part where Jason becomes a goddamn zombie.
That's
or the
what I
part
was
where he
saying.
goes to Manhattan and punches a guy's head clean off into a dumpster.
He
That's
does
peak
that?
cinema, Teach. That's the kind of efficiency I want from my teammates. Not these mopes who hide in lockers the second they hear a heartbeat.
Well, he's
but
not
fine,
wrong.
we'll do a part 2. I gotta rest my vocal cords anyway. I've
Me
been
too.
yelling at a P100 meg all morning. Who thought Sprint Burst was a substitute for having a functional brain? Speaking of brains, I gotta tell you about this viewer who messaged me.
Oh
This
my
guy
God.
claims he's watching from a place so deep in the Jersey Pine Barrens that his internet is powered by a literal water wheel. He sends me a GPS pin, and when I look it up, the map just says do not enter. He tells me he's been hearing heavy breathing outside his window for 3 nights straight, and every
Yeah.
time he looks, there's a fresh pile of wood chips on his porch. Just chips. Neatly stacked.
What the
Like
fuck is
someone's
he
building a
talking about?
goddamn scale model of a shack right there in his yard. He thinks it's a prank, but he found a rusty ice pick stuck in his mailbox this morning with a note that just said, Camp Blood. I told him to stop playing DBD and start praying to the entity, cause whatever's out there don't care about his dead hard timing. You
Okay.
want a genre for the outro of episode 85?
Yes.
After 10 hours of staring at a wooden box and recounting the murder of a guy doing a handstand?
Yes.
The genre is rusty machete sludge core with an overdrive pedal made of wet concrete. I want it to sound like a
What the
goddamn
fuck?
industrial wood chipper eating a drum kit while a guy screams the names of every counselor who ever forgot to watch the lake. It needs
is
to be
he
heavy,
talking
it
about?
needs to be dirty, and it needs to make my ears bleed like I just took a direct hit from a huntress hatchet.
Okay.
Get it done, Teach. I'm going to find some ravioli and dream about putting Beaver in a headlock. Episode 80-5. We're just getting started.
And that's it for episode 85. What was the genre again? It was fucking rusty machete sludge core with an overdrive pedal made of wet concrete. That is it for this week, part 1 of the Jason Deep Dive. We'll be back episode 86, part 2. Enjoy your sludge core with wet concrete pedals. Let's get the fuck out.
Episode 85. Life ain't a fucking week. Toxic crawled back carving. Least favorite DVD friend. Jason hit the 10th year gate. June 16 with a blade. Beaver lit a cabin stream. 10 damn hours in the shade. Leaves were rusting real hard. Shock boys lost their minds. Everybody called it late. Retroactive genius time. Toxic grabbed his drinking wink. Wig swap still ain't done. And Nicky thought the Beaver played. Victor parked under someone. No balls leaves no mad pressure. bridge. Mommy's head was chilling there. Ice pick burned the bridge. Paul made counselor college. What a stupid fucking plan. Crazy Ralph got garroted. Dog corpse found by a van. Burlap Jason found his shack. Winslow ate the claw. Mark rolled down the damn stairs. Machete wrote the law. Jenny put the sweater on. Mommy cosplay cheese. Jason saw the severed head. Got outplayed by slime. Hey, Nicky apostrophe. Money burned in smoke. Toxic hit the wrong damn key. The robot started broke. 1 hour, 2 hours. Teach can't read the clock. 12 films on the table. 3 got through the lock. Pine Barnes, what a wheel Wi-Fi. GPS said don't enter. Wood chips on the porch stack. Camp blood in the center. Rusty ice pick mailbox. Dead hard won't save shit. Pray to the fucking entity. Jason's outside it. Part 3 found a brand name. Hockey mask got born. Shelley pranked a blind date, then bled out in the barn. Biker stole a gas can. Big brain crime ballet. Vera caught a spear eye, and they split the wrong way. Debbie took a hammock knife. Chuck kissed the fuse. Chile met the fireplace. Rick's pop loose. Chris looped him in the barn. Shovel stunned his skull. People on Honda bang men ended, but the bastard still got on. Camping them softly. Watch the fucking AK. Episode 85. Put Pamela in a headlock. Camping them softly. Get inside the shack. Zombie Jason's coming. Space Jason after that. Camping them softly. Can't give him a break. 10 hours on the wooden mask. Now swallow the sludge tank. Rusty machete sludge core. Wet concrete pedal crack.